House ahead of former President Trump's testimony. Let's listen to that.
Repeatedly and consistently misrepresented and inflated the value of his assets. And before he takes the stand, I am certain that he will engage in name-calling and taunts and race baiting and call this a witch hunt. But at the end of the day, the only thing that matters are the facts and the numbers. And numbers, my friends, don't lie. Thank you.
Will you be speaking afterwards?
That was Attorney General Letitia James speaking ahead of testimony from former President Trump in that civil fraud trial against him in New York City. I want to bring in our executive editorial producer, John Santucci. John, you've got Letitia James now firing back, saying, you know, he has called this a witch hunt. He has called all these things. Donald Trump has said a lot of things in public, but the numbers don't lie, and now he's taking the stand. What does this mean for Donald Trump, who said so much about this case and so much about his business in public, to now have to go under oath?
It's a tough day for Donald Trump, because if you are under oath, you have to answer the questions. Now, obviously, it depends how much of an answering he does. And what I mean by that is, as one source said to me, look at Donald Trump's 2 adult sons who have already testified. There's the Don Jr. way and the Eric Trump way. Don Jr. was very vague in his answers, got right to the point, quickly moved on. Eric Trump dug in, got very fiery, got testy at some points, pushed back on certain details. As one source said to me, the best outcome we can hope for is that Donald Trump is somewhere in the middle of his children. That is the goal for today, is to keep him calm, keep him focused, not have him give too much. But the reality is, as one person said to me, there are 3 ways this case ends. Donald Trump wins, they don't think that's going to happen. Donald Trump loses, that is most likely of all the 3. The third, maybe he still settles. I don't see that one happening, but that is still something that is a possibility out there, because this trial is still on the prosecution side of presentation. We still, Diane, believe it or not, we have weeks to go. The defense still has to present a case, and as our sources told us, Donald Trump on the stand today, this is Act 1. There may very well be an Act 2 where we will see Donald Trump and potentially the children back on the stand when it's the defense's turn.
And Aaron, the former president is already in the courthouse. What do you expect to hear from him in this testimony today?
He was rather loquacious in a second deposition that he gave for the New York Attorney General's office as they were preparing the case. He took the fifth hundreds of times in his first deposition, but the second time he spoke at length about his properties, calling them the Mona Lisas of properties, comparing them to priceless works of art, and often giving voluntarily more information than the question may have deserved. And so whether the judge will allow him to go on at length like that, anything he says on the witness stand can not only be used against him as the judge decides the potential penalties here in the civil case, but we also know that criminal attorneys, criminal prosecutors will be listening as well, because anything he says here could also factor into other cases should it relate.
And I want to bring Catherine Falders in, our senior reporter, on that point, Aaron. Catherine, you're following all these other cases, not just obviously this one in New York. How careful does Trump have to be about what he says on the stand here, and how that can impact those other cases?
Well, he certainly has to be careful, and you've already seen the impact show as it relates to what's happening in New York, and specifically what's happening in D.C., for example. The gag order, the judge in D.C. for his case regarding his actions in January 6th imposed this gag order, and the special counsel had cited what Trump had said in that courthouse that Aaron is standing outside of. So it all factors in to one and the same, if you will, even though, of course, this is a civil trial. The charges he's facing here are criminal. But really, anything Trump says at this point could be a factor not only in special counsel Jack Smith's January 6th case, but also in his probe into the classified documents and Trump's handling of them.
And let's bring in legal contributor Kim Whaley for more on that part of this. Kim, what is Trump's goal today? His mission is to persuade the judge that what?
That he did not have the intent to deceive the banks and others relating to the allegedly false statements of the values of his various properties, number one, and that if he did make misstatements, that they weren't, quote, material That is that, I mean, he's made this argument before. Well, the banks had to do their own due diligence, and basically the contract documents indicate that it was really on them, regardless of what I say, to figure out whether what I was saying was true. The thing that's important here is the judge has already granted what's called summary judgment on one of the counts that doesn't really get to require materiality or intent, and canceled all the certificates for a number of his businesses. So what's at stake with this trial, and the trial is going to be resolved by the judge, there's no jury, and this judge has already said that Donald Trump's deposition testimony was lacking in law and fact. What's on the table now for Trump is how much money he might have to disgorge or pay back. Letitia James has asked for $250 million, and also she wants more injunctive relief. That is, wants Donald Trump to not be able to engage in business in the state of New York. So he's kind of lost a lot of this case already. He will want to, of course, appeal that. But right now, what's on the table is the dollar amount potentially he would have to disgorge. And as his former fixer, Michael Cohen, has indicated, and I'm sure John knows a lot more about, Donald Trump cares about his pocketbook more than anything else.
And John, I'm out of time, but I'll let you quickly react.
Kim, you know me too well. I mean, that is going to be the thing that's going to aggravate Donald Trump more than anything. Paying, and then how much. All
right. Kim Whaley, John Santucci, Catherine Faulders, Aaron Katursky, thank you all.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.